Greetings from chess.com. Top Indian grandmasters Vidit, Adhiban, Gukesh and Arjun are competing in Goldmoney Asian Rapid event, which is part of Champions Chess Tour. If you missed watching the games live, don't worry, I've picked up some very interesting moments from day one. They played 5 games, and I'm going to start with this game played by Vidit, and Vidit was white against Anish Giri. He played d7 and Anish played f2. You can see that Vidit has 2 pawns on the verge of promotion and Anish has got 1. And here Vidit promoted his pawn to a queen, and after rook e1 check comes a very important moment. Please pause here and think about what you would do as white. The white king could go to so many squares, but there's only one square that can promise a win. Alright, I hope you have paused here, and now I'm going to reveal the move. In this position, white has to be brave and boldly walk into a check with king to f6 and not with king to d4. So Vidit played king d4 and he ruled his chances there, but king f6 would have given him a win. Point being that after f1 queen, king takes pawn, rook e6 check, the king finds a safe spot on g8. So after queen f5, king g8, position is winning for white, thanks to this pawn on b7. If black plays rook g6 in this position, there's just queen c8 winning the game for Vidit. But after rook e1 check, Vidit played king d4 and then fell prey to a classic x-ray attack, and after king e3 f1 knight check, he simply picked up the queen, Vidit picked up the knight. Now black will take care of this pawn and white will take care of this pawn. Vidit decided to support his b pawn with his king and then eventually gave up his rook for the pawn on the g5. And they ended in a draw. The game ended in a draw. The next interesting position is from the game between Daniel Dubov and Arjun. And here I think it's also fair to say that Arjun was the star Indian player of the day. In this position, after rook d2, there are many ways to win this position. Black has 2 pieces for the rook. He could try pushing the pawn to a5 and win slowly, but Arjun had seen a forcing continuation in this position. He played rook takes f2. And I'm going to pause at a moment in the continuation. After rook takes f2, bishop takes f2, king f2. Thanks to the hanging rook on c1, white has queen e3 followed by queen d2. He's repeating the moves to get some increment and then eventually pick the rook. So in this position, take your time to figure out the winning continuation. All the moves are forced in nature. Here, Arjun played queen f1. It's important to understand that queen g2 is not working here because of queen g2, king g2 and a5. And then you go to the fastest square with the pawn and then draw a triangle and then you invert it and then it becomes a square. This king is out of that square, hence the pawn will pass and promote to a queen. So this is endgame fundamentals. But after queen f1, king g4, Arjun found that after queen f5, again black can win thanks to the existence of the pawn on h7. So after queen f5, gf5, king f5, he played a5, he played king g7 and then he played a5. You can see that this pawn, if you draw a square, the king can actually come within the square very easily. But this king will gobble up both these pawns and help the pawn to promote. And it's all a matter of one move, one tempo. So as you can see, king e5, a4, king d4, king f6, h4, a3. This king has to go to catch this pawn. And then after king e5, h5, king f4, king b3, king takes pawn, h6, king g5, king takes a3, king takes h6. Even here you can calculate and see whether black is winning. Of course, Arjun had seen this all and he found a way to just stop this king on d2 from coming to f1 and then this pawn promotes. So fantastic win, amazing effort by Arjun, and beating Daniel Dubov is not easy. This is amazing. Congratulations, Arjun. Now I'm coming to the game between Gukesh and Adhiban, and I have just one important moment to show you. In this position, Gukesh is white and is a pawn up, but Adhiban is black, and he found a neat way to force a draw immediately. If you are black, what would you do? That's the question. Alright, I'm now about to reveal the answer. In this position, black can actually play rook d2 and then keep the game going, but there's an immediate way to force a draw with knight f4, threatening queen g2, and after g takes f4, there's a draw by perpetual. So king g1, queen g4, and it's a draw. If black king goes to if the white king goes to e2, there is just queen check, and then it's going to be a draw again. After king f1, queen h3, it's a repetition. Alright, next we have the game between Dingliren and Gukesh. Gukesh scored another draw in the event today, and I'm coming to this position after king f5, knight to d3. In this position, take a moment to see what you would do as white. So put yourself in the shoes of Dingliren and see if you can find the winning move. I must say that this is a position that's difficult even for grandmasters. It's not easy to find the move. In fact, I was not able to find it. It's the computer that found the move. And I took some time to figure out exactly what's the point of this winning move. In the game, Dingliren went with knight takes h6. And then after g takes h6, he played g5. But Gukesh was cautious enough not to take the pawn on f2, kept the knight on d3 and ensured that there is a draw. I'm coming to the drawing continuation, but let's try to find out why the other move is winning. Here the move h5 is winning. Because for a moment the knight on f7 covers the e5 square, making sure that the knight doesn't come to e5. And now if black plays something like knight c5, white will simply go king g6 and then pick up the pawn. So the forcing continuation is knight takes f2. And in this moment, white plays knight takes h6, a very important move. And then after knight d1, simply goes king g6 and wins. If the knight is taken, then white has g5. And black's knight has problems defending against the rook's pawn. So after h5, white simply wins with h6, and then h7, and then h8 queen. That pawn is unstoppable. So this was a winning continuation, but in the game Dingliren played knight takes h6, and then after g5 captures knight king d6, king f6. The game ended in a draw as they repeated the moves. So yes, black has to take a draw and white also has no other option. So knight d7, he cannot play king g7 and to win, because eventually it will be a draw anyway with king e6, and this is a draw. For example, if you play king h6, there is king f5, and then if you play g7, then there will be knight f6, suddenly winning for black. So you have to be careful and just keep playing king h5, knight f6, king h6, and this is going to be a draw. I think the easier way is to just accept the draw here, just play king f7, because playing on was also a risk for black, and they ended the game in a draw. Then the last position that I have is from the game between Vidit Gujarati and Adhiban. Here Vidit played rook f1, and in this moment actually Adhiban had great winning chances. He could have played by maintaining some pressure with c6. In this position he played a forcing continuation, which is rook takes a4. This sacrifice did not really help him so much, but c6 would have been an interesting choice. The idea being that if black takes dc6, you play bc6, and then after knight c3 you simply play knight check, and then after king g2 black can consider taking the exchange. And after c6, dc6, bc6, if white plays rook d3 to attack the queen, black can go queen e7, and after knight c3 bring the knight to f4. And the position also looks very pretty for black, because all the pieces are like doing something. Now the bishop is also protecting the pawn on f5, and after bishop takes f4, black can play e takes f4, and yeah, the position is deadly enough. Black can now take the knight on c3 as well. So there are many ways after c6 though. There are many ways to play the position, but c6 was important. Here Adhiban played rook takes a4. He wanted to deflect this rook from the third rank defense. After rook takes a4, he played knight g3 check and then picked up the bishop. Black is still doing fine, but it's not as easy. Like after knight e2, Vidit played queen e3, and after knight ef4 check king h1. Here Adhiban played c6, but it was slightly delayed. And after d takes c6, b takes c6, black is still fine. But after knight c3, he blundered in this position. He played bishop g5, and this bishop, after it comes to g5, it's important to note that it's no longer protecting the e5 pawn, and that turned the tables, and Vidit played precisely and then went on to win the game. He played bishop g5, and after queen g5 he played his rook onto the 7th rank, and there are already new threats brewing in the air. And here Adhiban played queen at 6 and then came knight to e2. So Vidit was able to neutralize all the pressure with these precise moves, and now in this position the knight on f4 is hanging, like hanging in the sense, if it's white to move, white will play knight takes f4. You can't take knight takes f4 because there is queen takes e5, and you can't take pawn takes because of this vulnerable king in the diagonal. So here Adhiban played fg4, but queen s3 would have been a way to keep the game going. The position is still still a lot of plays left in this game, and white is slightly better though. But after f takes g4, Vidit found a nice way to win the game immediately. Again, a good moment for you to pause and see if you can find the finishing blow. In a way, it's easy. All you have to do is just play knight takes knight, and the point is, if you take knight takes knight, this is the winning blow. Queen takes e5 is winning, and it also hangs the knight. And in this position, if you take pawn takes knight, there is queen check, and the rook has to come in between. And now the killer move, bringing all toys, bringing this rook from f1 into the game with rook e1, and rook e8 is the finishing touch in the game. There's no way to prevent this, and Vidit won the game. So those were some of the interesting moments that I had picked from the games, and now let us look at the ranking. So Carlsen is leading right now, and Arjun and Vidit Gujarati are both on 2.5 points, and Gukesh and Adhiban are on 1 each. So this is the status as of now. I'm looking forward to more exciting games in the coming days, and I hope you like the selection of positions. And if you like the video, do like the video there, go to the thumbs up and click on the thumbs up, and then do subscribe to our channel if you're here for the first time. I'll be back with another video soon. Until then, take care. Bye bye.